It is Wednesday, the 6th of June, 2018. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Steem Radio Show on MSP Waves. Make sure to buckle up your steam belt because it's going to be a bumpy and full ride today. My name is Poetic Snake, and you can call me Snekky. And as always, I am joined by Mr. Radio Voice himself, Mr. Main Event. Are you with us, Main?
I am here. How are you doing tonight, Poetic Snake?
Oh, I am slithering fine. And what about you?
I'm doing all right. It's been a very busy week already, and it's only Wednesday. We're only halfway through it, but we're going to make it through it together.
Oh,
hopefully,
yes, we will.
hopefully everybody can hear us okay. Let us know in the audience chat if you can hear us. We have had a little bit of technical glitches here get going on the show today. I got the computer going and everything, and I was all set up, ready to go, and Snekky couldn't hear me. My microphone wasn't working. And man, did I have to troubleshoot that for quite a bit before I finally figured out what it was. And we were having a little bit of a panic attack, weren't we, Snack?
Oh, I sure as hell had a panic attack. I was like, I can't do this without Main. He needs to fix his microphone ASAP.
I think you could do the show by yourself if you really had to. I think you could handle it.
Yeah, if I really had to, but I don't want to do it.
So we're here. Ron says he can hear us great, so that's awesome. Welcome, everybody, to the Steem Radio Show here on MSPWaves Radio. My name is Main Event. She is Poetic Snake. And what we do on this show each and every week is we welcome different members of the Steem community onto the show. We get to hear their stories, find out how they found their way here to the Steem blockchain, what types of projects they're working on, maybe the communities that they're in. And again, we get to just kind of learn more about them, don't we, Snack?
Yes, and I really love learning about people. It gives another dimension to, to the account name. A deeper level. You get to know a little bit about how they got here, what they're doing here. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, and it's actually been fun lately, too. I mean, we're coming up now on almost doing the show for almost a year. And we've had some people come back as returning guests and things like that, and it's a lot of fun to see how they've grown too in the last however long it had been since they were on the show. That part of it's really cool too.
Yeah, I agree with you totally on that. It's cool to, if somebody was online with us like a few months ago and started up a project and they come back on and they tell, how good it went, or in some cases how bad it went, and that they started something new.
All right, everybody. So we are chatting right now in the Peace, Abundance, Liberty Discord server. And so I hope everybody can hear us okay. I see Maverick's making a comment, something about it being too low. So I hope it sounds okay for everybody out there. If any microphone levels need to get adjusted or anything, just let us know in the live chat there. On Discord. And of course, you're welcome to ask questions in that chat room as well of the guests or of us, really. So certainly do that if you'd like. And again, we're chatting on Discord in the Peace, Abundance, Liberty server, which of course is the home of the Minnow Support Project and MSPWaves Radio. All right. So everybody says we sound okay. All right, perfect. So I was just making sure because I did have a bit of a crisis there with the microphone before the show. But we're here and we're live. It is June 6th, 2018, as Poetic Snake said before. And we have 4 guests on the show tonight. Full house.
Whoa, full house. That is amazing.
And so again, we're going to chat with 4 different Steemians here tonight. I'm getting a couple DMs here. Somebody's saying they can't hear. I'm not sure. That's probably an issue on their end, I think, because everybody else says they can hear us okay. But again, we got 4 Steemians here tonight. We're going to chat with the Austrian guy. We're going to chat with JP. We're going to chat with G-Mux and Rhonda K. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to it. To everybody, really.
And it's funny because almost everybody is a OCD curator too. So we kind of got like Team OCD in the house tonight.
Yeah, OCD in the house.
It just works out that way sometimes. What I do and Snekky does is before, each show we go out into the community and kind of just put it out there. If anybody would like to be a guest on the show, they're certainly welcome to do so. And of course, we're both OCD curators. We're members of, Minnow Support Project, various different groups. So we'll put the word out there in these different sub communities that we're doing the show each week. And it just so happened that this week, Team OCD stepped up to the plate. So we're going to chat with a bunch of the OCD curators, as well as G-Mux and Rhonda K are going to be talking about the writer's block later in the show as well. So
I'm looking forward to that as well.
Yes. And as I did just mention, anybody who's listening out there, you are welcome to join us as a guest here on the show. How can they do that, Snekky? What would they have to do?
They could ask for your phone number. No, just kidding. They should just, I post every Wednesday before the show, and Main Event posts every Wednesday after the show. So you can reply to one of those posts and leave a reply saying that you would like to be a guest on our show. Or you can just send us a DM here on Discord, either Main or myself. Doesn't matter who you send it to. If you like Main a little bit better because you think I'm biting, yeah, go ahead. And you can also send us a message on steamchat.com if you are there and not here. It's a possibility.
Yeah, Discord seems to work the best for us lately. We're just on there more often, but you can always leave, like she said, you can leave replies on posts. You can chat us on Discord, steam.chat, any of those mediums. Let us know that you're interested in being a guest. And all you really need is voice chat capabilities. You could be somebody who's brand new to the platform. You don't have to be, a whale or something like that. If you're a whale and you want to come on the show, you certainly can.
Yes.
But, we welcome all experience levels here on the show. Anybody who's new, who's been here for a while. We love hearing all the different stories and really hearing about all the different projects that people are doing. Because lately, so many people are creating things lately. Haven't you noticed that? I notice a lot of people are shifting from just not really just creating content, but they're actually have these projects and communities and all these things that they're creating.
Yes, and I really enjoy that. I think communities might be or will be, in my honest opinion, a very good thing. So the more people start communities or start projects, I applaud you.
Yeah, it's a lot of work doing all these different things that people are doing out there. And if you have a project you're working on, certainly let us know. We'd be happy to hear about it and listen.
Absolutely.
Should we go ahead and play our disclaimer here, Snekky?
Yes. I'm just a little bit nervous, though. I keep getting messages that people can't hear. So.
Okay, well, Rondon's given us the thumbs up a few times that we sound okay. So I think we are going out over the air. So, if it is something specific to one of our microphones, like if you can't hear one of us versus the other or something, let us know. But otherwise, I think we're okay. You can always hear and listen on MSPWaves.com also. I guess me saying that is kind of pointless if they can't hear. But if you're if you're listening and you would like to listen on another medium or another way to hear the show, you can listen on MSPWaves.com. But we'll get into all that in just a moment. We're going to go ahead and play our little disclaimer here.
Okay. You are listening to the Steem Radio Show on MSP Waves. Everything you hear on this show is our opinion only and should not be taken as financial advice or advice of any kind. This show is strictly for entertainment purposes only. MSPWaves Radio and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show host or their guests. Statements or show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the radio station. The material on the Steem Radio Show is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research.
That is true, Snekky.
Yes, always do your own research. I've been wondering, though, how many takes made one disclaimer? Like 10 or 20?
It only took a couple. You did all right.
I remember doing it, and if I think back on it, it makes me laugh.
But no, everybody, of course, this show is just for entertainment purposes only. This is all just our opinion. We're just here to have a good time and learn about some different Steemians and their the things that they are doing on this blockchain. So always do your own research when it comes to all that stuff.
Yes,
Um,
so important.
all right. Well, I think we are ready to bring our first guest onto the show. Don't you
Who's it
think?
going to be?
Let's welcome the Austrian guy to the show. Welcome.
Welcome, guys.
Is
Welcome, the Austrian guy. It's nice to have you on the show with us.
Thanks. It's an honor. Always a pleasure to be talking in front of people.
Yes, it's certainly great to have you here. And so the name kind of gives it away, but just remind us whereabouts in the world are you this evening? Maybe you're somewhere else.
As the name states, I'm from Austria, like not Australia, but Austria. It's a small country with a lot of mountains in Central Europe, I guess. Most of the people know it. It's south of Germany, if anybody has problems referring on a map.
Oh.
No kangaroos there.
I really love Austrian. It's an amazing country. I've been there a few times, and there were times that I said, I'm not going home anymore.
It's certainly great
A
to
lot
have
of people
you here.
actually might know it from the movie The Sound of Music. I think it at least was in America. Many people watched that movie.
Yeah, all those rolling hills, all those. That's beautiful countryside, though.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And how long have you been on the Steem blockchain so far, the Austrian guy?
For me, it's actually been close to a year. I think on the 26th of June or something, I will celebrate my 1 year anniversary. And yeah, so 11 months and some days.
All right, awesome. And do you remember how you found out about the Steem blockchain or how you found your way here in the first place?
Yeah, I actually remember quite well. It was a few months after I got started a little bit in cryptocurrency. I was just like browsing CoinMarketCap and saw this Steem currency at rank 21 or something. And then I just Googled it up and I found a video. I don't remember exactly who it was from. It was not Jerry Benfield because many people ask me that, but I just found some video. It basically said, yeah, there's this new blogging site. You introduce yourself and you get a few $100s. So as a student, I quickly joined and took a lot of time to make my introduction post. I think I was sitting there for, almost 5 hours. Then I posted it and I got like $3, including a random whale vote. That's for the people who don't know, it's a small voting bot. I think it's offline at the moment, but you basically send $1 there and you get an upvote, $1 up to $3 or something. And yeah, that's basically how I got to Steemit.
Right, and of course, what they told you about, making all this money may or may not even be true. So we always, again, tell everybody, do your own research on that type of stuff because, everybody's going to have a different experience here on the blockchain. Some people are very successful right away, while others, it might take quite a while before you get a following and start seeing those rewards. So, it's kind of like to each their own, that sort of thing. But before you came to Steemit, were you somebody who, created content? Were you really big with social media? What was your experience with that type of stuff before you joined Steemit versus now that you've been here for almost a year?
I never was a heavy user of social media. Like even now, my Instagram account probably has like 103 followers or something. And I only used Facebook for organization and some things like that. But I was writing for a small soccer magazine portal, and I was also doing some stuff related to online poker. But I really wasn't a content creator in the way of blogging or something. Just tried it out because it said like, yeah, you will get a few $100 for introducing yourself, and I guess everybody can introduce themselves if they try. So basically went there without too much experience.
Now, speaking of introducing yourself, it's up to you if you want to talk about this now or kind of later in the interview. But I know that you are a curator now on Steemit, and you've kind of started doing something where you're doing a kind of a curation with introduce yourself posts, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're probably referring to welcoming,
Yeah,
like the account welcoming, just welcoming. Wait, I'll drop a link real quick.
sure. Yep. I've seen this in my travels because I do curation for OCD and for Minnow Support Project and You Got Snacked. And in my travels, doing all that curation, I usually like to look at introduce yourself posts, especially for Minnow Support Project. And a lot of times I see, welcoming has been there, and it's great that you're doing this where you're actually going out and looking to help these newer users. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. It was like in December, I think. It was a phase where I was like wondering what could I do to add more value to the blockchain. Like I was producing some content, but I didn't really feel with all these computer guys around me that were coding different stuff, I felt like I need to do something as well. But I couldn't code, so I just was thinking what I could do, and then it somehow came back to my mind that when I came here, the introduce yourself post was quite important for me, and I also enjoyed looking at other introduce yourself posts. But when I went to the introduce yourself section, I pretty much just found posts about whatever stuff in trending, but it was very little introduction posts, and also the introduce yourself tag was quite spammed. So I just started out manually creating introductions and resteaming them with my own account. But then after 1 day or something, SCTO, you probably all know him, you OCD creators do for sure. He like came talking to me, yeah, why are you doing that with your main account? And I also was like wondering, yeah, do I really want to annoy all my followers with those resteams? And then pretty much the idea came up to just make a separate account where I resteam up to 10 manually created introduction posts per day. And yeah, that's basically how it started.
And that's really cool. And if you are a newer Steemian out there and you haven't written an introduction yet, or even if, what's your opinion on this? Because I'm kind of curious. If you're somebody who's been here even for a while, do you think they should still do an introduce yourself post, or should that only be for more like newer users, in your opinion?
I think it can work in both ways. Like on the one hand, if you like come here, you're new, you don't know anybody, an introduction really can help to find people with the same things on their minds or people with the same hobbies or whatever. And it's also nicer to know a person. But of course, if you have been here like for a year, you have not shown yourself, and after 1 year you think, yeah, cool, I trust this place, I want to show my face, I want to introduce myself, then I think it's also quite cool to introduce yourself to your followers. I think it's just always nice to have, at least you don't need to have the full name, but at least to have a face and a little bit of a story behind the username. I just think it's nice. Completely, it doesn't matter if you have like rep 25 or rep 75, it's always nice. Because in the end, it's about the people, and they're people without a face are just not real people.
Yeah, and I agree with that. It's always good to show a little bit of yourself, I think. Some people like that total, anonymity. They want to be anonymous on here, and that's fine, or they're playing a character or something, I don't know. And that's totally fine too. But if you're trying to be, a genuine showing who you are in your life and things like that, doing an introduction post is a good thing. And maybe even if you are doing a character or something, you could do it for that too, I guess.
You
Satire,
think
right?
you think that people here playing a character?
There's some accounts that could be, put it that way.
How about sock puppets?
Right, or whatever. Yeah, whatever you want to call them, I guess. I don't know. I'm not real big on that lingo or whatnot, but yeah, but introduction posts, getting back to those, they are helpful, and in my opinion, because it shows the community a little bit more about who you are, your interests. You can talk about the things that you're planning to post about and why. If you have a passion for photography or for travel or whatever you're going to write about, share that and show everybody the things that you've already done and things like that. And it just kind of helps everybody get to know you a little better. And then when they see your future content, they may have a different reaction to it. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, sure. And it also helps to like it also helps others to show you things you could be interested in. For example, I often see people in the introduction posts like talking about they like to make videos, they like to make music, but they have never heard of DLive, DTube, DSound, or all the services. So when I read that they are producing content in any kind of form where the Steam blockchain has to offer a certain service, I just like referring those stuff, then they know it and they are way more likely to stay here, find stuff they enjoy doing. So if they would never have told anybody that they like to do those things, nobody would have been able to tell them that those services exist. So telling people what you're up to definitely also helps to get them helping you.
And are there other things that you have maybe planned for that project going forward, or are you just kind of sticking with the manual curation and things like that for now?
For now, I'm just sticking with the manual curation. I mean, I'm always thinking about getting one or two more manual curators. I mean, I had some guys helping me out, but they couldn't do it for a longer time due to personal reasons. So I may be thinking about adding one or two curators, but basically the project is working, so there's no need to change it, in my opinion.
Well, that's really cool. Go ahead, Snekky. Were you going to say something there?
No, I was saying, how much time does it take you to get a project like that, like really going? Was it really fast? Did you already had the idea and was it worked out really fast, or did it take you a lot of time to get where you are now?
It actually went surprisingly fast. Like, I started resteaming introduce yourself posts with my main account, and after 10 resteams or so, I already switched to the welcoming account, and I made a introduce yourself for the welcoming account, and suddenly a user wrote me in the Steam chat, hey, I think it's a cool idea. I will delegate you 12,000 Steam power. And with that power, it just got noticed and it just started rolling, and the same user is still delegating me those sums of Steam power, so working fine so far. So it really went really, really fast.
That's amazing to hear, because I think there are a lot of projects on the blockchain who deserve attention. And if you find a project like yours and you get those eyes on it and they appreciate it and they start to delegate to it, I think that's just amazing. And I hope that it stays that way, because I really enjoy seeing you do this.
Yeah, also I loved it. It was like I didn't expect it at all that some user would go there and just delegate me quite a huge sum of Steam power totally free. Like I have mentioned, the user never wanted anything for the sum, so definitely, yeah, not usual to get such huge support in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, it's a welcome surprise and a really weird but good feeling, I think.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great initiative, and it's just at welcoming on Steemit, right?
Yeah.
So people can check that out, of course. And now, you yourself, what types of things do you like to write about on the Steem blockchain?
Like initially, it just started with pictures because, as we already said, the landscape in Austria and generally Europe is quite beautiful. So without having to do too much work, I had a lot of nice cell phone pictures from my trips in Austria and Europe, and also some from the United States, to be honest. And I just started posting those, but over the time, I saw that people prefer posts where there's also a little bit information added to the pictures. And what was really good for me, I also started enjoying to write about those things myself. I can remember that I went to Paris with my girlfriend, and when I came back, I just wanted to post the pictures, but I just started adding information, and in the end, it turned out to be actually like a travel blogger. I never planned this, but I just made 3 long posts about my Paris trip, and I really enjoyed it because, like, I was back at home and I found out things about Paris I didn't get to see there, and it was just additional information for my own holidays, and it was quite cool. So since then, I'm doing some travel and hiking reports from time to time.
And do you write in your own language or English as well?
When I do a big report from some hike or travel, I try to do it bilingual, so English and German at the same time. I've actually done one a few days ago where I went up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go to a lake, run around. I can show you a link to the post. So that I'm doing it in 2 columns, so it's on the right side it's German, on the left side it's English.
That's really cool. And do you think that the German speaking has grown on the platform?
Yeah, the German speaking community definitely has grown a lot, especially in January, mainly due to the fact that a huge German Technik YouTube guy, Semper, nobody here will probably know him since he makes German tech tutorials, but he joined Steemit, he found it pretty cool, and he made a video about it. And I think in 1 week we had, a few hundred registrations. And at that time, the German community grew a lot, and a lot of those people stayed and are still with us today. So definitely a huge improvement in the German community from back when I started 1 year ago.
Yeah, it definitely seems like, the community is growing all around. Lots more people still joining here, and that's always a good thing. Now, are there other things you want to mention while you're here? Do you have other projects you want to talk about? I know you're also an OCD curator, which we are as well.
Yeah, I also am an OCD curator for a few months now. I just saw the post that they are searching for some people helping curation in the German community. And since I'm quite active in the German community anyways, I just found, why not? Why not do it? Because me and another guy, we actually have a Discord server in the German community with also, I think, 1,400 members or so. So seeing that there are 1,400 German members, even in the Discord server only, you actually could say, like, JP just has commented that the German community really exploded in the last months, which is obviously quite cool.
Yeah, no, that's a great thing for German-speaking people, and I'm sure I've seen it myself. There's all these little sub-communities being created for people in different countries. I'm part of a Steem USA group, and I'm sure Snek is part of a group that's maybe Dutch folks and whatnot. And that's really cool to see all these little communities being created and people joining this blockchain from all over the world.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's also what will them make stay here if they get drawn into a community, enjoy their stay there, because it's not a platform where everybody who joins can get quickly rich, even though if some people always seem to think so. But if you find your community, you have fun there, then you will definitely like to stay. And
Sorry, go ahead.
For me, for example, it was like, yeah, sure, you get decent money sometimes, but the really cool thing is you just learn the stories of many different people, and you also grow in many different aspects of your own life. Like, I did a lot of things in the last year I would never have imagined doing before joining Steemit, and I think all those things have brought me ahead, not only on Steam but also in life generally. So quite a cool thing.
Yeah, I also think and believe that if you join your country community, you are able to talk about Steem, and even crypto in your own language, which makes it often very much easier to understand, because a lot of people, they have no knowledge at all about what the blockchain is, and if you have to ask questions about it in a different language than you normally speak, it can get very technical. And if you have people you can talk to in your own language, it makes it just that little bit easier, and probably makes people stay as well.
Yeah, sure. I mean, in Central Europe, we have the privilege to get taught English very well in our school system, but I think there are many places around the world where the English level is not that high, or also the older people in our countries. So it's definitely a huge help for them. So always awesome to see different subgroups emerging in the Steem community.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I am blessed as well. I learned German, I learned English, I learned French all at school. So, that's it is something amazing if you join a platform in, let's say, in English language.
And what also comes in when you find your place in your smaller sub communities is also that if you have the luck that there are live meetups, then those are also really cool. Like I visited, I think 4 or 5 live meetups so far. And I can remember before going to the first one, it was in Munich, Germany. I was like, whoa, what the fuck am I doing? Just meeting with random people from the internet. But it just turned out to be a really cool experience because it was like a group of people. Like normally you are in your school, you are at your work, in your fitness center, whatever. Basically, the people are quite the same, so to say. But at the Steemit meetup in Munich, it was like 20 people. Everybody was quite different, but still everybody was talking about the same thing. And it's just cool if you are a 25-year-old guy and you get to hear the opinion of a 60-year-old dude, a 30-year-old woman, all on the same thing. So it's really cool to meet those people in real life as well. I would highly recommend everybody who didn't join a live meetup yet to do so. And I really hope I can go to the next Steam Fest because I think it will be even cooler there.
Yeah, I would love to go to Steam Fest, and I think main event wants to go too, and he's hoping, very much hoping, that it will be close to him.
Yeah, I mean, it probably won't be, but we'll see. I don't know. But yes, I want to go to just a Steam meetup in general because everybody always talks so highly of them and that they've had such good experiences that, I certainly want to go to one. I haven't had that privilege yet.
Aren't there a lot of meetups in Canada by member teams, Steam? And so, I mean, you're not that far away from Canada.
No, I just
I
haven't.
mean,
I
on the
just
map,
haven't
it looks not
traveled
that
yet.
far.
There's some people talking about some going on this fall, so I'm looking into possibly maybe doing something this fall. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, no, those meetups are very cool, and it's cool to hear your perspective that you enjoyed them too. So that's cool to hear. Are there other things you want to mention while you're here? And I mean, of course, we always give everybody a chance to do shout outs if you want to give any, Steemian shout outs or shout outs to any other projects or whatnot. We'll kind of turn the microphone over to you. And if you've got anything, you want to mention while you're here, feel free.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the whole German community, especially to those members who have been here before me and supported me from quite the start. I don't know if anybody of them is listening at the moment. I also know that some of them don't want to get mentioned by name. So I just want to make it general, just thank the whole German community and everybody else who tries to add value to the Steem blockchain in their own personal way. You don't all need to be coders. You don't all need to be perfect at graphic skills. Just do your best to add value, and I think that everybody will find a way to do so.
Well said. Any other questions from our audience? We always try to give a chance for the audience if they have any questions, or Poetic Snake, if you had any more questions too, feel free. Big shout out to everybody who is listening live right now on MSP Waves, whether you're listening on MSPWaves.com or maybe you're listening on Discord. It's great to have you all here with us on the show today. Right now we're visiting with the Austrian Guy. So you can find him on Steemit right at that same username at the Austrian Guy. There's some questions starting to be asked in the audience chat, but I'll let you certainly pick which ones you would like to answer. Are you following the audience chat right now?
Yeah, I'm following the chat.
Careful
I guess
on
you're
that one,
laughing
right?
due to the question of
Yeah.
Future Thinker who my favorite OCD member is. Well, I think that's kind of hard to say. I actually don't have that much contact to many of the international curators. But yeah, let's just go with, I hope nobody gets mad. Let's just go with Fukako. She makes nice drawings and she lives in Germany and she has to learn the German language, even though it's not her mother tongue. And I know that German can be hard to people who have not grown up with it. So let's just say here.
That's
I wouldn't say
man.
Acidio because he's the founder, so he's not a member in my opinion.
Well said. I think you'll get by with that answer.
Great.
Snekky and I might be a little sad, right, Snek? No, just kidding.
Yeah, I'm like really super, super sad right now. I'm
Oh,
eating.
wait 1 second. Who does the payouts at OCD?
Right?
I'll change my mind.
That's funny. Yeah. Now OCD's we're on a little bit of a break right now, a little vacation, and then hopefully we'll get the curation going again soon here, and might have some things in the works. So keep an eye on that. Um, let's see, any other questions in the live audience here for the Austrian guy or Snekky? I didn't know if you had any other questions either. I'm trying to think if we had anything that we missed. But certainly,
I'm scrolling down the chat, but I don't see any questions at the moment.
Well, it's certainly cool to hear about, the welcoming project that you're doing. And of course, it's good that you're out there doing curation with OCD, and I'm sure you're on your own and everything. And, like you were mentioning too, with the pictures and adding more to like posts with pictures, I can totally agree with that sentiment. Because when I first started, I did the same thing. I just kind of put a picture up. Didn't really know how much I should or shouldn't write about it, honestly. And I've noticed over time, people do seem to prefer that you put something with your pictures. It's not really like a photo sharing type of thing necessarily. Like if you're going to share something from a travel adventure that you did, or just being outside, or whatever you're sharing, write about it is my thought on that too. And share what maybe your thought process was when you were taking the pictures, what was going through your mind, where were you, the location, that type of thing. And I know myself as a curator, if I come across a post that is just one picture, nothing else on it, I'm probably not going to do much with that. That's just my own personal decision as a curator. But if I see that they've actually talked about it a bit, gone into some details, that's a little higher quality content in my own opinion. Of course, everybody's going to have a different take on that. But it's certainly cool to hear about all the different things that you're doing. And any other parting thoughts that you'd like to give, Austrian guy?
Yeah, just to close it up, maybe I want to suggest that everybody just tries whatever he likes and finds their way. You don't need to come to Steemit and know exactly what you want to do here and stick to that plan. If you find something you have fun with, just go for it, do it. And if you have fun, then the people will see that you had fun in your posts writing. And I think the people will admire that, because in the end, everybody loves to read texts. When you read them, you get a good mood. So just do what you love. I think that's a general sentence going for life, and especially for Steemit and content as well.
Well said. Poetic Snake, are you still here with us?
No, I'm in hiding. I just went into my little cave.
Any closing thoughts here for the Austrian guy?
You want me to give closing thoughts?
Yeah, or just say you want to say goodbye or anything like that?
Oh, yes, of course. Thank you so much for being on the show with us, the Austrian guy. I hope that your project, the Welcoming to Steam project, works amazing and keeps growing and growing. And I'm looking forward to see whatever you will do in the future. So thank you again for being with us tonight.
Thanks, it was an honor. Maybe one last sentence. If anybody should read an introduction post in English, which he thinks is well and deserving of an upvote, and you don't see a welcoming vote there yet, just send me the link to the introduction posts per private message on Discord. This would really help me curating, and it would help the new user who deserves the upvote. So a shout out to everybody who wants to help a little bit. Otherwise, thanks for hosting, and thanks for letting me talk a little bit.
Absolutely. So everybody, that is the Austrian guy. Of course, you can check him out on Steemit under that same username, and then the welcoming is at welcoming. And yes, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.
All right, Poetic Snake. That was awesome, huh?
Yes. Why do you keep calling me Poetic Snake?
Because that's your name. What do you want me to call you?
You always call me Snekky.
Oh, well,
now you call me Poetic Snake. Makes me feel like you are mad at me or something.
I don't want people to be confused, though. If they were trying to find you on Steemit or on Discord and they looked up Snekky, they wouldn't find you. Right?
Yeah, that figures. Yes, you're right. I'm so sorry. I am Poetic Snake.
Her nickname is Snekky, though, so she likes apples, by the way.
Yes, apples are always welcome. And I just got a few from Shadow's Pub, so thank you very much, Shadows.
You are listening to the Steem Radio Show here on MSPWaves, myself, Main Event, and my co-host, Poetic Snake.
Ooh, that's me.
And we did just visit with the Austrian guy, and we still have 3 more guests to go. This is awesome.
Wow.
Like we mentioned earlier, it's a full house tonight, so stick around, and we'll see if our next guest here is ready to go. JP, are you there?
Yeah, I am.
All right. So, welcome to the show, JP. The username, though, is slightly different. Tell everybody what the actual Steemit username is.
It's Jean-P 1908.
All right. And I know Poetic Snake will share that in the chat. Welcome to the show. It's great to have you here with us.
Yeah, I'm also really happy to join. I already wanted to join it a long time ago, but it was every time a little complicated with the time because it's late here in Germany.
Well, that was going to be my next question, was where you were joining us from in the world. So you're in Germany.
Yeah, Karlsruhe in Germany. It's near the frontier to France.
Well, that's really cool. And so tell us, how long have you been on the Steem blockchain so far?
Yeah, exactly 1 year. Today is my first Steemit anniversary.
That's right. I forgot about that. So happy Steamiversary.
Happy Steamiversary. Happy Steamiversary. I need pie now.
Right? Where's the cake? Someone break out the cake.
Yeah, the cake is a lie.
This calls for cake. No. Yeah, no, well, happy Steamiversary. So you've been here 1 year so far. And how did you find your way here in the first place? Or how did you ever find out about it?
Yeah, I was at a family meeting with our complete family. We were like 60 people or so. And then Detlef, he was on Steemit and writing a post, and I was like, what is that? And he explained me what it is, and I was really interested in it, and I immediately wanted to create an account, and then had to wait first 2.5 weeks to get one. And Detlef is also still on the blockchain, so...
Well, that's awesome. And it's interesting how some people say that. They tell me that they had to wait like weeks for their account. I don't think I did. I think I had to wait maybe like 24 hours or something like that. Maybe I just got lucky. I don't know. But I have heard other people say that it took a little while. And I'm not sure if that's still the case. Maybe somebody in the audience chat can chime in if they're a new user or something like that. But does it still take a long time? I'm not sure. We can ask people in the audience. I'm not sure on that. But anyway, now before you came to the platform, you said you saw it from somebody else. You were really interested in it. Were you someone who, did blogging or a lot of content creation or anything like that before joining Steemit?
No, I wasn't. I was just often looking YouTube videos and was like, oh, that's funny. Maybe I could do something like that one day. And now I did a little bit of posting and blogging and everything.
Well, that's really cool. And what's now that you're here, what are the types of things that you like to do while you're here? Are you someone who is creating content? I know you are an OCD curator, so again, shout out to the OCD crew. But just tell us a little bit more about what you're doing with the Steem blockchain now that you're here.
Yeah, mainly I'm creating and writing posts for OCD because I'm really lazy and I often don't have the energy and motivation when I come home from university to write a post. And yeah, if I have something really interesting to write about and I have time and the motivation, I also often try to write something. It can be about everything. Like I write many things about Steemit, curation, and things like that. but also about travel, food, beer. Yeah, a lot of beer.
Well, hey.
Yeah, and yeah, in gaming lately I wrote a bit about it.
I am still waiting for the first German to really start posting about bratwurst. There needs to be more bratwurst in life, in the world. It needs to take over.
More bratwurst.
Yeah, yeah, but you can't write so much about bratwurst. You can write so much more about beer. Like you have, I don't know, hundreds types of different bratwurst in Germany, but like 10,000 different types of beer.
Yeah, but you can have a bratwurst with every beer. There you go.
We're not telling everybody to do that, though. You do things in moderation, people, right? No, just kidding. Oh, no, that's cool. And so tell us, JP, so you're kind of doing more curation than posting. So what is your opinion on curation on Steemit? Do you think people should be doing more of it? What are the types of things that you see as a curator that maybe you want to mention or talk about? Like, what is your kind of overall perspective on curation on Steemit?
Yeah, I think it's not done enough. I think there are really, really good projects that are creating good stuff like Curry, Team STEM, and everything like that. That's amazing, but there are not much individual people who do it. And then with all this bitbot, upvote and everything, if the people vote on minute 0 with already a $5 vote, it's really complicated to really do curation, because then all the curation reward goes to the author and not to the curator. But yeah, also there are also really some things on the Steemit blockchain from the quality of the content, who is sometimes not the best. You have, for example, in the science tag I look at often, or so you have really much of plagiarism, or just like one image and that's the end, or just a video from another platform or something. Like you have the presentation video of the Apple iPhone, and that's everything in the post. And yeah, that's not so. It made curation work much harder.
Yeah, I mean, I see that too as I'm out there curating. Unfortunately, there is plagiarism out there. There's people copying other people's posts, all that kind of stuff. And of course, we do not support that. We do not want to see that. And so if you see that kind of stuff, you should send it right to Steam Cleaners right away. But it is nice and rewarding, though, don't you think, when you do sift through all that stuff and you do find the genuine good posts? That it's original content to the Steem blockchain. That's my favorite type of thing to see. But when you find those original gems, isn't that a good feeling?
Yeah, it is. The best thing is when you search for a really long time to find one, and also to nominate the then for OCD, and like you found 4 good posts. Then you found out that the 2 first one are just plagiarism, and the last one is just using upvote bots. And then the 4th one is finally the one you're searching, and then it's great.
Yeah, and of course we encourage everybody out there, to be creating original content. Don't copy other stuff off other people's posts. That's just, I hate seeing that out there. Or some people will take just like a YouTube video and share that or something with nothing else even in the post. It's like, don't do that. Like, we want to see original content. I prefer to see Steemit original content also, but that's just my own opinion. I know people have mixed feelings on that. They think they should be able to post their blogs on, all these different websites. But my favorite content to see is like Steam original content. What's your thought on that?
It depends on what it is. Because, for example, if you do music, for example, I think if you publish it first, like on SoundCloud or something like that, and then post it on here on Steemit, it's really good because like you make an extra publicity for it, and as a musician, it's really complicated to get an audience if you are not really big. And I think Steemit is a really good way to get this audience. And at the moment, there is no real way to publish and not real good way to publish music on the blockchain. These sound, but I always have some problems with the reader of this sound, and it don't show me, it don't play the music then.
Right, and I mean, of course, some of that is limitations to where they can upload it and things like that. I mean, of course, they can't upload a song onto Steemit yet. That type of capability isn't there yet. So, I mean, that type of thing I'm fine with. But, just curation, like you said, it is kind of a challenge, but it is rewarding as well. So if you're somebody out there and you're on the Steem blockchain, and maybe, I know some people, they struggle sometimes because they feel pressured to post a lot. We've talked about this before in the past, where you should never feel pressured to post on Steemit. If you're looking for things to share as content, and maybe you're struggling to do that, you can go out and be a curator as well, in addition to creating content, and go out and just leave some genuine feedback and genuine comments on other people's posts. You could do some re-steams. You could share some votes if you thought that was a good idea, if you thought their posts were good and you want to give them a vote. That's totally your choice. But going out there and sharing that with others is a good thing. I mean, that's a whole nother aspect of this blockchain platform here that we're using, is you don't have to only be a creator. You can be a consumer of content as well. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I completely agree. And also, what I like really at curating is, if you go through all those posts and everything, you can see what is good and what is bad, and you can take those elements you found good at some post. You can take it to put it in your own post, and so curating posts makes your own creating posts much better, I think.
Yes, for sure. Now, if anybody in the audience chat right now has questions for JP, certainly ask away in the chat if you'd like. And Poetic Snake, you can always jump into anytime. Feel free if you've got questions. Let's see here. Now, JP, do you have other things you wanted to maybe mention while you're here? Or, as always, we always give people a chance to give some shout outs and things like that. So if you have any other Steemians you want to give a shout out to, or any other communities or projects or anything?
First thing I have to mention is for my Steemit anniversary, I'm making a big giveaway of $225, where everyone can join. You have nothing to do other than just upvote and comment to participate, and you can win a lot. And then I also have to make a shout out to the German community first, because I'm really often in the German community writing there and everything. And then the second time to the Steem Nova community. Steem Nova, for those who don't know, is an online strategic real-time game, but text-based. It's a clone of OGame, if someone knows. And yeah, it's a game also connected with the Steem blockchain, like the best guilds are rewarded with Steem collected by posts they do. And it's really a nice project and really funny, and I'm playing it probably too much in the latest weeks and so.
Well, that's really cool. If you want to share a link to that or whatnot, go right ahead. I'm not sure I've heard of that before, so that's interesting. Cool. Again, if anybody in the audience has questions for JP, feel free to ask away. But JP, it's obviously cool to have you joining us here on the show. We've been OCD curators together for a long time now. OCD's almost a year old now. It's getting there.
Yeah, soon. We will also have to do first anniversary post and maybe even a giveaway. Who knows?
Yeah, it's definitely possible. Go ahead, Snekky.
Sorry, I keep interrupting at the wrong time. It would be amazing to have a big OCD party.
Maybe it'll happen. We'll have to see. Time will tell. But yeah, happy anniversary to you once again, JP. So celebrating 1 year on the platform. I've noticed a bunch of people are celebrating 1 year. I just did a couple of weeks ago. This was a busy time last year, I think, for people joining the platform. Right around now, like the end of May, beginning of June, it seemed like a whole bunch of people were here joining. And a lot of those same people are still here, which is great to see.
Yeah, it was a little bit like in this December again, a big wave coming in. I don't know how this happens, but it's like it's coming in waves, the people.
And I see a bunch more people jumping in the audience chat. It's great to have everybody joining us here tonight on the Steem Radio show. We're chatting tonight with Jean-P1908, or JP for short.
Yeah, call me JP.
And Poetic Snake has shared the Steam profile link in the chat, so if you want to check him out, there it goes. There it is.
Can you look in the future? I was typing it, and you said I already sent it.
It showed up on my screen, so.
Interesting.
Are you sure it wasn't the link I posted?
No, I saw that one too. I saw them both. But no, it's certainly awesome having you here with us. And again, if anybody else in the audience chat has any questions for JP, feel free to ask away. Or Snekky, I don't know if you had any more questions or whatnot about anything in regards to curation or anything.
Well, yeah, I'm always interested in the curation part. I do it for the Dutch community, and you do it for the German. Is it hard to find good quality German posts? Because sometimes in Dutch it can be very hard because there are not as many members yet. So I sometimes Jack and I we struggle a little bit. Do you guys have the same?
No, like the Austrian guy already said, we have like the Dach, the Discord server, and like there's so many people there in there, and in general the German community is big enough that they produce enough content, and sometimes I have like 3 posts I could nominate, and I don't know which one to choose. And yeah. I think also the German community is doing good and quality content. There's still some spams and things like that, but there are also really good quality content that is created by all of those people, and the people are also really successful, and they're also a big support of the community that also encourage the people to do quality content.
Yeah, and that's always a good thing. I mean, finding your community where there's people there that are helpful and, you know, can give you some actual positive feedback and constructive criticism, that type of thing, is always a good thing. And it is, like as we mentioned before, it's wonderful to see all these little sub-communities being created for people, you know, based on various things, whether it's content types or geographical locations or languages or all these different things. It's great to see that because people are getting support and then able to branch out even further into the world of the Steem blockchain, you know, kind of once they get their footing under them. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I do.
Stephen Woods asking in the chat, have you ever doubted your staying on Steemit? Like, did you ever have doubts that you would be here for a whole year?
Yeah, I did. Like, I was away on holidays for 2 weeks in the summer last year, and when I come back, I was very lazy and didn't done a post for like 2 months or so. But then I started again, and there were really some months where I posted maximum 1 post, and it was sometimes complicated to stay motivated and stay on the blockchain, but I think OCD really helped me with this. The people encouraged me to stay and to post something and everything.
And let's see here. Any more questions in the audience chat for JP? Feel free to ask. Now's your chance. But JP, it's certainly cool to have you here on your 1-year Steamiversary. That's pretty awesome and exciting. Again, happy Steamiversary. What types of goals or plans do you have for your next year on Steemit? What would you like to do while you're here?
Stay a bit more active and do maybe more than 1 post per month, maybe 1 per week, and still be active in a different community I'm in, still create for OCD and also in private. And yeah, I think staying motivated is the main goal.
Yeah, it can be a challenge sometimes. I even find myself having that bit of a challenge, is posting all the time. I would like to post more often, but I just get busy and doing other things. But it's okay to take a break too. I have found that out myself from experience after being here for over a year now, is taking a little break sometimes is a good thing.
How long are you here, Ma1ne?
I'm just hit a 1 year a couple of weeks ago, so I'm just over a year now.
Oh,
so only a couple of weeks.
You're already older than me then.
By a couple of weeks, yep, not by much. Middle of May is when I joined. Snekky's been here now almost 2 years. When's your 2-year, Snek?
3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Oh.
Yeah.
You're already your grandparent.
Yeah, I'm a grandma now.
Steam grandmas. That's funny. All right. Well, JP, was there any other things you wanted to mention or talk about while we have you here on the show, or any other last-minute shout-outs?
Yeah, thank you to you, Ma1ne, to invite me here and let me talk here. It was really amusing to do it and really funny.
Well, we're certainly happy to have you join us. Again, it's kind of an OCD episode tonight. We've got 3 guests that are OCD curators, and Snekky and I are both OCD curators, so it just happened to work out that way. But it's certainly great to have you here with us. Poetic Snake, did you have any final thoughts there?
Oh yes, I still believe that bratwurst needs more attention. But other than that, thank you so much for being with us on the show tonight. It was nice, really nice to get to know you a little bit better. And I'm looking forward to seeing you celebrate your 2nd year here on Steemit.
Yeah, I hope I will still be there then.
Absolutely.
Bye-bye.
Take care, JP. And Poetic Snake will share the blog link one last time here. So if anybody wants to check out JP on Steemit, so feel free to do so. But yes, certainly great to have him with us here on the show tonight, right, Snek?
Absolutely.
All the way from Germany. So
yes, he's really close to me. It's my neighbor country. I used to do my shopping in Germany.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's
much more cheaper, and they have way more chocolate.
Yeah, hashtag more bratwurst, Woodsy says in the chat. So.
Yes. Go Woodsy. Never forget bratwurst. Yes, I love it.
Now I'm hungry. Oh well. That's okay. All right, everybody. You're listening to the Steem Radio Show with myself, Ma1ne Event, and she's Poetic Snake.
That's me.
We're here each and every Wednesday night here on MSPWaves Radio, which of course is part of the Minnow Support Project. So you can catch this show every Wednesday. It's from 10 to midnight UTC time, which is currently it's 6 to 8 Eastern time, but of course due to time changes in the spring and fall, that changes. But just always remember 10 to midnight UTC. And later in the show here, we'll do a little thing where on Discord, you can get a notification when the show is live. So I'm not sure if Rondon's listening right now, but he has a way to add notifications to everybody if you're interested when the show is live. And you'll get something on Discord. So maybe when Rondon's in here later, we'll get him to do that, and people can subscribe to the notifications. Of course,
yeah,
you can.
I need to subscribe because sometimes I forget.
Yeah, I know, right? Of course, if you ever miss the show, you can hear the recording. I do share it on my Steemit blog as of right now, so you can just find that on Steemit. It's at Ma1ne Event. I just spell it with a 1 in there instead of the I. So it's
Ma1ne Event.
Yeah, I know. a new Steemian mistake right there. Should have picked a different name, but that's okay. It works, and it's stuck with me. So, but yeah, you can check out the recording there. We've got an hour here to go still, and we're going to have 2 more guests joining us here in just a moment. So stick around. We're going to have 2 more.
Are you serious?
Can you believe it?
Oh, my Lord.
So we'll get them on here in just a moment, but we just, of course, want to remind everybody that you can find the full schedule of all the MSPWaves radio shows by visiting MSPWaves.com. There's more shows being added all of the time, and they are all hosted by people who are on Steemit and in the Steem community.
Isn't that marvelous? I really enjoy that, listening to someone you read and the account of, you read a few of their posts, and then you can hear their voices, and they are doing something they're passionate about, be that music or interviews or sims. It's just amazing.
And even when there isn't a live show on the air, there's now what's being called the Steem Mix being played on the radio station, which is all Steemian musicians, which is really awesome. So the music you'll hear in between shows are people who are on the Steem blockchain creating music. Isn't that pretty cool?
I sat down, and I think it was 2 or 3 days ago, to just listen to the music. And by I don't know why it happened, but I'm friends with the Buck IQ, and obviously his music started to play, and I was like, huh? Because I didn't know it. And then I started to look, and I saw all these Steemit musicians, and it was like, this is truly, truly amazing.
Yeah, they're calling it the Steem Mix. I just typed it in the chat, how they're showing that in the chat, and it even shows what song is playing now and everything, which is really cool. So shout out to Rondon and Global Cop and everybody that's involved in the MSPWaves radio station that's worked really hard to get that all working. I think that's really awesome. So very cool. All right, so again, you can find out all about the station at mspwaves.com. And again, this show is here every Wednesday, 10 to midnight UTC. It is the Steem Radio Show, and we love chatting with our fellow Steemians. And let's see, I see we have one of our guests in the chat room, so I'm going to go ahead and move the other one in here as well. So hopefully she's ready. Let's see.
I think she will be ready.
Okay. All right, so we have 2 guests joining us tonight. I hope they can both hear us okay. Please welcome G-Mux and Rhonda K here to the show. Welcome to both of you. G-Mux, are you there?
I am indeed. Good evening.
Hello, Muxie.
Hello, Snekky. It's been a while.
It's been a while for sure. I've missed your accent.
And I've missed yours.
Aww. Rhonda, are you here with us too?
I certainly hope so. How are you?
I am slithering fine, and how about you?
Well, I'm not slithering, but I'm fine. Hanging in.
That's all that matters.
It's certainly great to have you both here today, and you both are, of course, prominent members in a group called the Writer's Block. So I think we're going to talk a bit about that today, I'm sure. But before we do, maybe we could just have you each kind of give a quick little introduction of yourself, if you'd like. Just remind everybody, how long you've been here, what you're doing on the platform, and just a quick little introduction, if you don't mind. So if G-Mux, I'm going to make you go first.
Oh, thank you very much. I like going first. um, yeah, I had my first Steemiversary last week, I think it was. I joined MSP more or less from the start. I was one of the second moderators on board. Got into writing fiction. I was dragged into it by Rhonda. And yeah, not long after we started the fiction workshop here at MSP, we found that we kind of needed to spread our legs and make something a little bit bigger, and that's basically where the writer's block started last September, October, I think, and it's just grown way beyond what we originally thought it would, and yeah, big things are on the horizon.
And Rhonda, you're a new guest to the show. Just kind of remind our audience a little bit about yourself as well, kind of how long you've been here on the platform and what you like to do here.
I'm coming up on my first Steemiversary. I joined soon after G-Mux. G-Mux and Shane were two of the first people that I met. I met them right here at MSP. I did take off as a channel mod with the fiction workshop when it was here, and this whole thing has just exploded. It's all consuming. And someone asked me the other day, I don't see you at MSP much, but I think you're still a member there. I'm like, of course I'm still a member at MSP, duh. Of course I'm still here. I barely show up even in the chat in the writer's block. And once upon a time, maybe I did avoid chat on purpose. Lord have mercy. I wish I had that option now. This writer's block thing keeps me so busy. Run. It's just, and it's all starting to coalesce and come together. We're going to have some very big announcements, life-changing announcements even coming up within the next month or so. We have a meetup scheduled in Gatlinburg for some of our writer's block leaders and some others to come in and introduce us to a thing that I think is probably going to put our initiative on the mainstream map. And that will mean interacting with more people out in the quote real world unquote and bringing them to Steemit as well. And we're also are going to have, oh gosh, I just can't keep talking because I'm going to end up saying too much. But anyway, we'll be able to bring them in a way that I think will retain them and they won't get frustrated and leave. So anyway, yes, we have big things on the horizon.
So, and up to you which one of you want to go first or who wants to answer this question. But so just explain to the audience, in case they've never heard of the writer's block, exactly what it is, how they can find it, and maybe how it could help them, as a writer on the Steem blockchain.
I've just dropped the link to our Discord server in chat. Basically, we welcome anyone who wants to improve their writing or who have already got considerable writing skills to help other writers. We've got professional editors on hand, although they're being worked to death, unfortunately. We've got an editing queue that people can access to upload their manuscripts prior to posting on Steemit or wherever. Currently, we are obviously focused on Steemit, but also exploring other avenues for writers and publishers.
Rhonda, did you want to add anything to that as well?
I seem to actually be having mic trouble, so I there was a good portion of what was said earlier that I didn't even hear. So I'm not. Let you guys just talk and let me make sure I'm hearing everything.
Okay, yeah, because I was hearing him okay just fine. Snekky, are you hearing everybody okay?
No, I'm not hearing anybody. No, just kidding. I was. It was good for me.
Okay. Rhonda, he just kind of spoke briefly about what the writer's block can offer, how there's editors and things like that. What's your thoughts on the writer's block and maybe how it can help people on the Steem blockchain?
We have a an editing queue for nonfiction, for fiction, and poetry. And right now we're kind of short on editors. People are putting their submissions into the queue, and a week goes by, a little more than a week goes by. It's because we're just slammed to the wall. So we actually are looking for people to come in who want to be beta readers and editors, and even no matter if you're not a skilled critiquer, your opinion still counts. And I was just in the Leaders Lounge talking to some of our leaders over there about the possibility of starting to do some critique workshops so that we can get people more confident about giving critique and we can all get on the same page. So what I think that the writer's block can offer Steemians, first of all, you have to be pretty serious, if you want to improve your writing. We find that people who don't take it very seriously don't tend to last long at the writer's block. The critique offends them or hurts their feelings, or they don't want to do the work or whatever. And that's fine. Steemit's for everyone. Steemit's for everyone. But for those of us who are looking at this from a more career angle, whether we want to be career authors or we want to be, make Steemit our job or whatever, we learn a lot over there. And we learn about real world publishing. We learn about publishing on Steemit. We have seen our people, our members of the writer's block, not only survive several up and down situations with the Steem blockchain, and everyone has grown and improved to the point that some of their writing now is almost unrecognizable from what they were writing 6 months ago. They really sound, when you read their post, it sounds like something you would read in a mainstream publication. And that's the goal, is to improve the quality of the posts that we see on Steemit to where at least a portion of them are mainstream quality.
And that's really cool. And so again, Gmux shared the link to the Discord server here in the chat, and feel free to share that again later in the interview, Muxie. Now, if somebody is interested in becoming, like you were mentioning, becoming an editor or something to that effect, where should they go within that Discord server if they're looking to volunteer their time for that?
Well, one of the things that we've established at the server is we've got what's called the Welcome Center. So anyone who joins, that's the only channel they can actually chat in until our hosts have a chat with them, see what they're about, see what help they want or what they can offer. And sorry, while this discussion's going on, we also take plagiarism very seriously. So their Steemit blog gets checked for any issues, and should any arise, then we'll bring it up with them. And we do this for two reasons. One, we don't want our general chat just full of people who just really want to come in and spam and what have you. But we're also quite defensive of the work that goes on in the queue. Our writers do put hours and days and sometimes even weeks into some of these manuscripts and their writing. And, the last thing we would want is for someone to come into the writer's block, go straight to the queue, steal someone's story and put it out on the blockchain before, our writers actually get the chance to. So, yeah, coming back to your original question, if people want to be an editor or a beta reader, express that in the Welcome Center, and someone will guide you along on our procedures and how we run things.
Awesome. Well, it sounds really awesome, and it's cool to see initiatives like that trying to help the quality of the content on Steemit. It's like somebody mentioned in the chat. Plagiarism is terrible to see on the blockchain, and it's, unfortunately it happens, and it would be nice if more people would take some time to improve their writing if they're interested. Of course, we're not forcing that on anybody. But if you're a writer out there, this is a community that's willing to help you. And that's one of the great things about the Steem community is there's groups like the Writer's Block that are willing to help you, and that's a great thing.
You're absolutely correct in that we can't force people to participate. We can't force people to take our advice. But if they come in and they don't participate and they don't get involved in critique and they don't seem to be listening, if they post pretty much on Steemit what they posted in the editing queue and didn't follow the advice they were given, they're going to find that they may get overlooked in the queues. And it's not a thing of being mean or making a statement or anything like that. It's just that our editor's time is very valuable. And we learn who wants to work with us and who doesn't. So if an editor spends an hour of their day on a certain piece, working on it and critiquing it and giving suggestions and comments, and then that piece is put on Steemit and absolutely nothing has changed, that editor is going to assume that author doesn't like those suggestions or doesn't appreciate them or whatever, and they're just not going to bother the next time. So that's one thing to remember also.
Yeah, and another thing is some of our editors are professional editors out in the real world, and in the real world you would pay quite a lot of money to have their opinions, and to say that they give them for free on the writer's block, it's quite a bit of a punch to the guts to have their work totally ignored. Yeah. So, yeah, obviously you're free to disregard any advice that you get, but do so at your own peril.
And I'll kind of turn the microphone over to you guys if there's anything specific you want to talk about, in regards to the writer's block. If you have any suggestions for people as to when they first join, what should they look for, or I'll kind of turn the microphone over to you guys, and if there's anything you want to mention about the group, feel free to do so. Whoever wants to go first.
Take it away, Moxie.
Oh dear, why is it always me first?
It's that accent. We need to hear it.
Oh dear, this accent, it's going to get me in trouble one of these days.
No, just, anything you want to mention about the group, or, like I said, maybe just kind of picture a new person out there listening who's maybe never ever heard about the writer's block. What are a few more things you just like to mention about it, that type of thing.
Yeah, obviously we take writing seriously, and it's our number one purpose. And in our general chat, yeah, we'll have a laugh and a joke, but the work is number one. So if you are intent on improving your writing, whether it be fiction, non-fiction, poetry, whatever, use the resources that are there. I mean, it's, well, as Damien's just saying, it is a great community. We are very close. It's very rare that general is quiet over there. But, treat the other members with respect. A lot of them have been there since day one, and everyone they'll fall over themselves to help you. But obviously go in with the right mindset that you're there to help yourself, and then do what you can to help the community as well. It's not all the, a one-way street where people come in to get help. We'd like those same people, when they've gotten the help and learned a bit, to give a little bit back to the community, even if it's just reading other people's stories and saying what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's going to be some changes coming up in the cues and the editing, not because what we were doing didn't work, but because of scalability issues. We are growing. Those cues are so fat. I mean, we look and there's 10 or 12 things in there waiting for attention, and that's just in nonfiction, or just in fiction. And we have 3 separate cues rolling. So it gets overwhelming, and I think we're going to be talking about some things maybe tonight, depending on who's still there. But the one thing that I want to talk to people about, especially if you're listening and you're thinking about hopping on over, which we want you to, when you come into the Welcome Center, it is like Mux was talking about earlier. You do get a lot of questions, and you may feel interrogated. And some of our people are more tactful than others. But the point is that what we're trying to extract from people is their seriousness about what they're writing, and do they have plagiarized content? Do they have photographs? Are they using images that they're not licensed to use? So that's the very first step. And it doesn't mean Instaban on the images. We try to talk to people about how to use Pixabay and how to source properly. When we see plagiarized writing, that's pretty serious. And that also gets people reported to Steam cleaners. So if you have plagiarized things and you have plagiarized work on your blog, you come in there, you can expect that Steam cleaners will be knocking on your door very soon. So the other problem that we have is that we don't currently have any consistent resources for ESL, then that's English second language. So if someone comes in and they're not fluent in English reading and writing and conversing, we don't really have the ability to help them. Our editors are not going to get bogged down with translation, and they're not going to translate people's work for them. They're not going to, that's just not what we do there. Would we like to offer that? You better believe we would. And if we have the right staff, volunteers that come on that can do that, we'll be over it. We'll be all over it. So it's, I will, Johnny. I see this message. I will absolutely be hitting you up. I'll be hollering at you for sure. We would love to offer the work on English second language, but we can't. So when people come in that appear to be using Google Translator to talk, we refer them to other servers and including MSP, who may have the resources to help them. So even though it seems like we're discriminating or whatever, we're not. It's not that. It's just that we don't have the ability to help. And it would be almost like sending a person with a broken finger to a hairdresser for help. It's just not, what are you going to do? You need to go to the hospital. And right now, we're not exactly the hospital for ESL, although we would love to take that on at some point.
Yeah, and I'm sure as it grows and as, you guys get more people in there, maybe you'll be able to open it up to different things like that. And I'm sure it will continue to evolve and change over time. And it's cool to just see it even there. As somebody who might be a writer out there, they might be looking for this. They're looking for not only fellowship with other writers and things like that, but of course, the resources and the editors and feedback and all these things that they can find, I'm sure, in the writer's block, and that's really cool to see. I asked in the audience if anybody has questions for you guys. I'm trying to see if anybody's asking any here yet. But if anybody is in the audience chat and you have questions for GMux and Rhonda K here while we have them, feel free to ask. Somebody said the audio dropped there for a second, but I don't think it was us, so I think we're good.
I have a little question.
Okay.
How do you guys in the writer's block respond to writers who like to come up with their own words? Like it's in their style or it's something they really like. Would you still be helping those kind of people?
I'm not sure I understand the question. You mean making up words?
Yeah, you have people who like to create their own words, like non-existing English words to write their stories in.
I suppose it depends on the context of the piece. Say, for example, if it was like a fantasy story, then yeah, by all means.
I saw Gmux make up words on the fly when we were collaborating on the nose to nose post. He was just making up words, and I was like, "What's he typing?" And because we were working together in a Google Doc, and it depends. It's like with anything, any stylistic quality that a writer brings to their work, if it interferes with the reader's ability to understand what's happening in the scene and in that world, then it's a problem. So if there are so many foreign words that the reader is not going to recognize, then that's just going to be that's going to be something that even as not only us editors are going to have a problem with, but the reader base. They're not going to read it. They're going to give up. But if it's part of the personality and the character of the if it's a world that's being built, if it's some little quirk that a character has, that they make up words, that can actually be kind of a cool thing. And so it's like Gmux said, it's entirely dependent on context. And I'd have to see an example to really know and be able to say whether it works or not. It's also quite possible that in the same piece of work, some instances of it would work and some instances of it would not. So that would be, that's a good question. And I'd actually like to see some of that.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it to write as Snekky, as the snake. So there will be a lot of hissing, a lot of S's, and it's grammatically, it's so wrong to do such a thing.
Well, it would be highly stylized, and I think it's a risk. I think you're taking a risk. That doesn't mean it isn't a risk that you need to take. I'd be interested in seeing it because I've seen some of your stuff before, and I know that your persona as Snekky here is very well received, and you've done it. You do it well in chat and in talk, and I think you would have a pretty good chance of getting it right, and it may take some trial and error, but I'd like to see it. Crimson Clad is a perfect example with Murphy Dog. Oh my God,
what?
Who?
You mean that's not a dog?
Yeah, who doesn't like? Yeah, I know, right? It's not a dog. Who doesn't like Murphy Dog, and who doesn't just roll when they read those posts? And she makes up words and she makes up syntax and just put. And it is. I haven't seen a Murphy Dog post yet that I would have touched with a red pen. So they're just good. And so yeah, I think the answer to that is it's a risk worth taking, and you may get it right, you may not get it right all the time, but I'd like to see it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes you just have to, fall flat on your face and let something go, straight to the pile of, never again. At least And yeah, I love Murphy Dog, by the way.
That's one of the best things I've seen on Steem. It really is. It's just awesome. And I can't keep up with it like I want because my life, you just don't even know how crazy my life is. I could tell you things and then you would look at me the things that I forget to do on a daily basis because I'm so busy, I can't even say what they are because then you would look at me like I'm not a person you want to be around, at all in Gatlinburg or on Steemit or whatever. But hey, I'm trying, guys. It's just busy. But some of these posts that are coming out and some of the authors that we're seeing, I wish I had an hour every day that I could set aside to just read this stuff. And maybe I'll get there. That's a goal for me to set. But we're seeing some really cool stuff. And, if you don't read it, you're missing out. And I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah, I feel like I'm missing out. Not so much the reading, because I still try to read as much as I can. But I came into it as a way of growing myself as a writer. But we've gotten that busy. I just simply don't have time to do it.
I'm curious, so what type of content would you say is the most popular so far in the writer's block? Would you say it's like fiction or poetry? What's so far been the most popular?
I'd probably say fiction, closely followed by poetry.
Yeah, and a couple of months ago, I would have said fiction and not even hiccuped. But since Damien has come into the writer's block, he's taken poetry to a new level. And he has people invested in poetry now who wouldn't give it the time of day, a few months ago. So poetry is the Ringa and all of the things that are happening, the unintended poetry. He's a one-man army with that and has revolutionized poetry on Steemit. Especially, he's definitely revolutionized it in the writer's block, but on Steemit too. So it would be tough, really, to call between fiction and poetry. And I'd say there are some days and some weeks when poetry has the edge.
I've noticed so many more people sharing poetry on Steemit, and I think that's really interesting and really cool because, poetry, I don't know if that's something they maybe were sharing on their typical social media, or if they were, I'm curious, if they were getting any kind of, feedback from it. But it seems like Steemit has become a place where poetry has really flourished, it seems like. Would you guys agree with that?
Yes, I would, because poetry is short. It's ideal. It's usually not a serialized thing. It's short. It's catchy. And I think people have realized that, and, you get paid for it. Where else is a poet going to get paid? I mean, honestly, poets are starving all the time, and you can make big money with a poem here on Steemit, probably more than just about anywhere. And the other factor is, just like Damien has come in, I had never published a poem in my life. And now, I've got the Yeti poem, which is comedy. It actually kind of placed in comedy open mic, long Yeti poem about what happened when a woman had a Yeti in her house and wouldn't leave, and what she did to him. It was hilarious. I never would have published that if Damien hadn't looked at it and encouraged it. And I've published a raccoon poem, and just some things that I would have never done ever in a million years. So I think that part of the increase is just people who've never written poetry before and never had a platform or an urge to publish it are publishing it now on Steemit.
And that's one of the great things about the Steem blockchain, is it's creating these opportunities. We talk about this every week. So many opportunities here. And I've heard multiple people say, I used to like writing poetry when I was younger, or I used to like writing stories, and I kind of gave it up because, it didn't make me any money or whatever. Life happens, of course, things like that. And now that they've found their way here to the Steem blockchain, they're finding a chance to now share some of that creativity again with people all over the world. And a lot of them sometimes like-minded people, and that's really cool.
I think that's exactly right.
All right, everybody. So we are visiting today with G-Mux and Rhonda K here, of course, prominent members in the writer's block. And Muxie has shared the Discord server link here in the chat. So if you're interested in joining that, you certainly can. And you guys have a profile on Steemit too, right?
Yeah. Perhaps Snekky can get that up for us. Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I've got million and one windows open here.
Oh no, you're fine.
Too.
I already shared it.
She's great at that.
Yes, she did.
There she goes. Perfect.
Thank you, Snekky.
You are so welcome.
Yeah, we post competitions from there. We'll post updates about the community. Just basically what we've got going on. When we've got time to.
Are there any other things you guys want to mention while we have you here, or just anything else you want to talk about while you're here on the show today?
Steem Wars.
Steem Wars, yeah. You want to mention that, Muxie?
Yeah. Just about a year ago, or well, no, slightly less. Sir Knight ran a Steam Lords event, where it was basically writing parodies of fantasy stories like Lord of the Rings and what have you. And I took part in that and had a lot of fun. and I actually met a lot of people that I've followed since through that, and really enjoyed myself through it. So I started a sci-fi themed one called Steam Wars. It's basically a mashup of whatever science fiction stories you want. Like there's Star Wars in there, Star Trek, whatever. I think currently we're close on 60 stories are on the blockchain, all related to Steam Wars, and it's just a brilliant laugh, to be honest.
Well, that's really
Some
cool.
of them are so funny that I mean, it like you break a rib laughing, and we laugh as we're writing them, we laugh as we're reading them back to ourselves. Then to put them out there on Steemit, people laugh, and you see tears rolling in the comments and all that sort of thing. And that's what we want. We want something fun. We're not trying to change the world with Steam Wars. We just want to give. There's a lot of negative stuff happening on the platform. Steam's in the toilet, although I hope it's starting to bounce. I would love it. There's a lot of things, that really get people down. And Steam Wars is good for a laugh, almost any post you click on. So, we have several different crews. We have 5 crews, I think, of 4 to 6 people who are writing, and they have missions, and they go do these little missions. And like my crew is the Drone Fly crew. It's, of course, based on Firefly. And I even got the Marky Mark to let me use him. He's the former captain of the Drone Fly, and apparently he put too much salt on a hamburger and died or something so now my character is the captain of the Drone Fly, and we have this crazy crew, and she's really stood up to the Time Lord, Dr. Mux, and really got in his face and told him, no, I'm not doing your mission. And he's sitting there thinking, I've been to tomorrow. Yes, you are. So it's pretty funny. I mean, I have to admit, it's one of the most fun things I've done as a writer on Steemit, and we hope that it grows and grows. We want to get more people from the community. I've been trying to work on a writer's block post about it for days, and just the things that are going on with my rescue and my county and the crap that's going on in real life has gotten me bogged down, and I haven't been able to finish the post. But once I do, I'm hoping that a lot of people will see it and maybe want to participate, and I think it'll be a great fun.
Well, it certainly sounds awesome. And again, Muxie shared some links here in the chat, so if people are interested in that, they can certainly check it out. We have been chatting today with Gmux and Rhonda K, and we've, of course, been talking about the writer's block. And if you're interested in joining that, Muxie did share the Discord link in the chat, and I'll also add that into the show post as well. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. Poetic Snake, did you want to add anything there at the end before we say goodbye?
Oh, yes, I'm still copying links. Oh, my Lord. It's so fun to talk to you guys. I really enjoyed listening to you both talking about this with so much passion. And I think the writer's block is just amazing. And Steam Wars, oh, my God, I can see that turning into a movie. Yeah, really, absolutely do. So thank you guys for being with us tonight, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And the thing about turning it into a movie, I don't know if we have that ability. However, we have discovered that we have the ability among us to model unique 3D objects and animate them. And we may be able to do some short videos, if nothing else. So I know that I've modeled the characters and the raccoon, and when you look at the post, you see some of this 3D art that Gmux has done. He's built starships and all kind of neat things. So it's a great opportunity to kind of show off some of the hidden skills that have been latent in our group for a while.
And Muxie, anything you want to add here at the end?
Just that it's been an absolute pleasure to be on. Lovely to speak to you both. And I'm really looking forward to meeting up with quite a few Writer's Block members in Gatlinburg in 2 weeks' time. My first trip outside Europe. So quite exciting times ahead.
How many of you are planning on getting together there in a couple weeks? Do you guys know how many different people are planning on attending?
I think about a dozen. Is that right, Rhonda?
Yeah, that's my count, and it may be -1 or +1 or something like that. But that's a rough estimate of who we've got.
Yeah, there's a few members. Well, sorry, a few attendees who aren't actually members of the writers' block, but they're prominent Steemians as well.
Well, that should be a lot of fun. Hopefully, you guys will take lots of pictures and do some posts. You know, I always enjoy seeing those Steam meetup posts. I think that's a lot of fun. So, Muxie, I remember reading your stuff when you got to go to Steam Fest. So, I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun.
Oh yes, I'll take many photos, many posts.
Well, all right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And again, if anybody's interested, of course, you can check out the Writer's Block on Steemit even. It's at the Writer's Block. And Snekky did share all the profile links in the chat, so thank you, Poetic Snake, as always.
Oh, you're welcome.
And G-Mux and Rhonda, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you very much for having us. I've looked forward to it all day, and didn't disappoint. It was a pleasure being here.
Wonderful. Well, thank you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to having you both here with us as well. We should do it again.
Yes. Hey, when we get after Gatlinburg, Snekky, when we can make our announcement, yeah.
Yeah, certainly come back and let us know with any updates.
Yeah, that would be brilliant.
I love updates.
This is going to be a big one too, so yeah.
I like big ones too.
Oh my, okay.
Oh, okay.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us. And again, if anybody's interested, Muxie just shared the Discord link one more time there to the Writer's Block. And it sounds like a great community where you can, certainly interact with your fellow writers and improve your writing as well. So you can check that out if you're interested. It's the Writer's Block. Thank you guys for joining us. Poetic Snake, what did you think of that? I thought that was awesome.
I thought that was awesome as well. Absolutely enjoyed it. And I can't speak anymore.
Is it getting late for you, Snekky?
Almost 2 a.m., so yeah.
And I do apologize if anybody was having any kind of audio issues there during the show. A couple of people mentioned that the audio was cutting out a little bit. I could hear them both just fine. So I'm assuming the recording that I've done it should sound just fine as well. So, if for some reason that did cut out for you at all, I do apologize for that. And you can certainly listen to the recording after the show. I'll be sharing that right on my blog, right after this show is done. So, live radio, folks. What are you going to do, right?
Not much to do about it.
We strive really hard on that. So
absolutely.
We certainly try to keep the live stream going for you and the audio quality to be top notch as much as we can. So, apologize if there was any, audio issues there. All right, everybody. Well, we got about 12 minutes left of the show here. We do thank all of you for joining us. Those of you who are still here, why don't we go around the world real quick? Let us know in the chat, in the MSPWaves audience chat on Discord, what country are you listening from tonight? If you could type that out for us and just let us know what country you're listening from tonight.
No flags allowed.
Muxie's in the UK. I know that one at least.
Okay, he's in the UK. I see Epkland. I see England, sorry, Stephen Wood. Canada is present, UK. And there's Rondon with the message to subscribe to the Steem Radio Show, people.
Yes.
I see the UK, South Africa. Hello, Breeze. Come on, people, where are you from? Let me know. Maine is in the USA. I am in the Netherlands. Oh, I see Belgium. Are you from the Dutch-speaking Belgium or the French-speaking Belgium? I see an abused mango from Uranus. I see Artemis North from Canada. And Rondon, as always, is from Ancapistan. So amazing, all those weird little places.
Yeah. People have some good imaginations.
They really do.
But yes, Rondon did something in the chat there a little further up, and if anybody didn't catch that, if you would like to receive Discord notifications of the radio show when we go live, just leave an emoji on Rondon's comment up there, where he said, if you want to subscribe, leave an emoji. And then you will get Discord notifications when this show goes live, so that can be helpful. Because I know myself, I forget sometimes, like when certain shows come on, and I'm like, oh man, I missed it, and those notifications are helpful.
Yeah, I do have that with this one radio show. It's called the Steem Radio Show. For some reason, I always forget when it's on.
Oh man, that's my favorite show.
Is it? Really?
I think so.
I happen to like it as well, like a whole lot.
It's all right, We've been here almost a year now, Snekky. Isn't it hard to believe?
Oh, very hard to believe. Like, time is really flying.
Another month or so. I think Waves appeared in July last year, the radio station, and I started doing my show right at the beginning. So this isn't the longest running show, I don't think, but it's certainly one of them. Probably like in the top 3 longest running shows here on the station. So
that's really cool. And I think I joined you in September.
Yeah, you joined me after a couple of months of being on the show, but it's certainly been awesome having you here with me, and we love hearing all of these stories and interacting with all of these different members from the Steem community. We're certainly grateful to all of you for taking the time to join us here on the show. I know it's not always easy. Some people are very shy to get on the radio, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah, being shy can stop you from so many things. I'm a very shy person as well, and I never thought I would do a radio show myself. So, being shy, just push that away and not think about being shy for like 20 to 30 minutes and just do it, because it brings you so much. People get to know you a little bit better, and for the platform, that is also just a really good thing.
Yeah, I mean, we have people tell us sometimes, they'll say, oh, well, my story is boring, or I don't have anything to talk about, or I guarantee you'll have something to talk about if you join us here.
Yeah, even if you don't post and you don't curate, you can always talk about, hey, listen, I don't post and I don't curate.
And tell us why.
Yeah, tell us why.
But I mean, we also encourage Steem witnesses. If you're a witness on Steem and you would like to tell us about that and let the community know that you're a witness, we certainly welcome that on the show anytime. And that's a great opportunity for us to not only learn more about what the witnesses do, but it's a chance for you to, again, let the community know that you are a Steem witness. We do remind everybody you can vote for up to 30 witnesses on Steemit. Just go right under the menu tab, and there's a section that says Vote for Witnesses. And, do your own research. Find the ones that, that are doing things that you agree with, on the platform. And, give them a vote. If you can vote for up to 30 different witnesses at any given time. So it's not like you got to put it all into one or anything like that. You got 30 of them. So check that out. It's, the witness section on the Steemit website. If you just go under Vote for Witnesses, I would think most people would encourage you to do that because, I mean, again, you get 30 of them, and they do a lot of the work behind the scenes to keep this thing running. So, check them out. You'll only see the top 50 there, but you don't have to only vote for top 50 witnesses, of course. You can vote for ones outside of the top 50. You'll just have to manually type their name in, that's all, at the bottom.
Yeah, and you can change them up as well. Like you said, you have 30 in, and you find someone you think is maybe a little bit better. I don't know. You can just take a photo away of someone you think, well, not anymore, and put it on a new person. So you can, it's not a set thing. You can switch it up if you like, and I think it's just really important that you use your witness votes.
Yeah, and like I said, these people are doing a lot of work behind the scenes to keep this all up and running. They've got servers to maintain. There's a lot that goes into it. I don't even know how it all works, honestly, but that's why we encourage witnesses to join us here on the show, so you can kind of tell us a little bit more about it.
Yes. So if you are a witness on the Steemit platform, not a witness to something, but a witness, please contact us. We would love to have a chat with you.
And we've mentioned this a few times before too, and hopefully people are doing this and whatnot. But if you are ever looking for a tag to use on a post, you can use the tag Steem Radio. And now this doesn't guarantee you'll get upvotes or anything like that, but it's a tag that Snek and I try to keep an eye on once in a while, and remind the listeners of this show. If you're somebody who's listening to this show, we are both active curators, for You Got Sneked, for OCD, on our own. And we're always looking for good original content that's not plagiarized, that's not copy pasta, all these things. So if you're ever looking for an extra tag, use the tag Steem Radio. And it's quite possible that either Snek or I or both may find it, and we'll check it out. Again, there's no guarantees of upvotes or anything like that, but we'll at least try to take a look at it. Again, it's just the tag Steem Radio. We try to mention that.
Steem Radio.
Just like that. And, of course, your support of the show is always greatly appreciated as well. We both do a show post. Usually Snekky will kind of do the pre-show post, and then I'll do the post-show with the recording and all these things on there. And, of course, your support of those is always greatly appreciated. With your re-steams, your comments, your feedback, all of that stuff, it's always really appreciated. So certainly check those out after the show and give us some feedback. Leave us some replies on the posts. If you think the show is great and you enjoy it, you can always re-steam it to your friends. You can write a review of the show, too. I know Pensif was doing a contest there for a little while where people were writing reviews of the different radio shows, and that was really cool. So you can always do that, too. But, we appreciate your support and your feedback.
Yeah, for sure, because we learn from it as well, be it good feedback, bad, oh Lord.
Constructive criticism, we'll say it like that. Yeah.
Yes, constructive criticism.
And of course, our little disclaimer, everything you've heard on this show tonight was just our opinions only. We are not financial experts of any kind, and we're not trying to get you to buy anything or sell anything or do anything like that. We're just here to chat with different people from the Steem community. This is all just our opinions and for entertainment purposes only. Of course, MSPWaves Radio and its owners take no responsibility for the opinions or statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests. Statements and show topics are not necessarily the beliefs of the radio station, and the material you hear on the Steem Radio show is provided for educational, informational, and entertainment purposes only.
Always do your own research.
Always do your own research. That's right.
Yes. Apples are good.
All right, everybody. We're winding things down here. We've only got a couple of minutes left, but thank you so much for joining us this week. We had 4 Steemians on the show tonight. Big shout out to all of them. Thank you so much for joining us. Poetic Snake, any parting thoughts here at the end of the show for this week?
Well, I'd like to say thank you to the people who joined us here on Discord as well. Enkpolo, Atris Nord, Blunts, Masha, Breeze, Crimson, Clad, Damien, Jakeley, Tutix, MX, Cubby, Negativer, Rondon, Rondak, Shadows Pop, Stephen Wood, The Admiral, The Buck IQ, and Woodsy, and of course everybody else who is listening through different channels. Thank you as well. And of course, I hope to see you all next week.
Yes, we had quite a few people listening in the audience chat tonight, and again, you can check out the full listing of all the MSPWaves radio shows by visiting mspwaves.com, and in between shows, you can hear music that is created by your fellow Steemians. So check that out. Again, check out the Minnow Support Project on Steemit as well. It's at Minnow Support. It's a great community where you can chat and network and interact with your fellow Steemians and find MSP Waves as well. So again, that's at Minnow Support. And of course, Snekky and I are curators with her You Got Sneked project. How many days a week are you publishing that now, Snekky?
2 days a week. Every Tuesday and Friday, we do a compilation post. And it's going really well. I really enjoy doing it, and I hope that my curators do you enjoy it as well?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. Curating is great. It's always good to help other people. So, yeah, check that out if you're interested. It's her You Got Snacked is what she calls it. And, we're doing curation posts twice a week featuring people from all rep levels too. So, check it out. This is the Steem Radio Show with Main Event and Poetic Snake. Again, we are here every Wednesday night from 10 to midnight UTC time live on MSPWaves.com. We hope you'll join us again next week for another episode where we will bring you more live Steam-based interviews. Certainly wonderful having all of you here with us this week. And this is the Steem Radio Show with Main Event and Poetic Snake. We are signing off. Have a great night.